Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the I Don't Know Running podcast, where we share our experiences that make running fun and sometimes not so fun. I'm Lewis, and I'm a self-admitted lazy ultra runner.
Wait a minute, but you did run today.
I did. I ran. I got talked into, well, let's see, where did we leave? Was I not talking about doing anything
You were
last
talking
week?
about not doing a damn thing.
Not even
Now-
Friday?
Yeah. And now here, well, maybe Friday, but here we are.
I think there was an outside chance of Friday because that's when we were going to I was going to have the power meter.
Yeah.
And here we are today, another half marathon later. I didn't do the full.
I am so proud of myself. I gotta say, you know what? I have to add my introduction. I'm Mitch, and I'm full of beer and chili.
Ah, yeah. You are definitely full of beer and chili.
So
you got to hang out afterwards.
Yeah.
I jetted.
You did, but we both ran Friday night for 4.4 miles or whatever it was, and then I worked it out. I got my way, and Lewis did the half marathon today. I mean, not the full, but more than he probably should have done.
Well, definitely more than I thought I was going to do. Yeah, we were talking this week, and we were actually talking about some other things, and because we were kind of going back and forth on some things for the podcast, a logo specifically, talking about a logo, and then somehow Laura got brought into the mix. Oh, well, she's helping us out with some things, and she threw her 2 cents in, and she's like,
I enjoyed that.
yeah, you should do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She was pulling for the marathon too. And I'm like, there's no way I'm doing a marathon.
You could have.
I will say this. When I was out there, I think it was the third lap. So Groundhog is 6 laps for the full, 3 for the half. And when I was out there, I do have to say, when I was about halfway through the third lap, I was so happy I was doing the half marathon.
I would have been happy too, but, I'm tougher than that.
Well, you have a lot more miles in. You said you just got 100K.
You have 0.
You said you have 100K for January already?
No, for February already. Yeah, I got.
Oh, for February. You said January.
No,
So for February, you already have 100K in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm not a slacker.
Well, I wouldn't call me a slacker.
I would.
I just took time off.
Whatever.
That's what it is.
Splitting hairs.
Well, I know. I've always said that's why I'm a self-professed lazy ultra runner. I know I don't put in the work.
I'm here to help.
So yeah, we ran both the Groundhog Marathon, half marathon, and the 1/6 World Championship Groundhog Marathon on Friday.
But I know I have 3 medals.
Actually, yeah, you have 3 because you did Grand Rapids.
Right. So I have the little mini, and then I have the really big full marathon that's still bigger than your medal.
I'm sure it is. Well, it's a full marathon.
Yeah, you get a bigger medal for that. So
normally.
Yeah, don't you care about that? Yeah, you do.
I don't.
You have medal envy. Yeah.
Not a bit. I have a lot of medals
me too.
Are sitting in a box.
Mine are not. Mine are just hanging haphazardly on a metal hanger that is just a big
Ours, mess. I'm trying to think. I believe 2 on display. Actually, maybe not even that anymore. I think we took some down. I used to have 2 or 3 on display, 2 Bostons and 1 Ironman. That's it. That's the only ones I've ever had on
you're medal shaming me now, is what you're saying.
No. I'm just saying that's the only ones I had
more.
out.
Because my medal is bigger than yours.
Well, yeah. So anyway, that's what this episode is going to be about. We are going to talk about the Groundhog Marathon, essentially a recap.
Yeah.
Of the last few days, or the last couple of days, really. Well, I guess the last week, if you count talking to Don, who graciously helped us with some entries and being able to run. So we really appreciate that. Super thankful for that.
He helped my cause. I texted him. I'm like, you know what? I challenged Lewis, but I need a little help. You know, he's a little cheap, so we need an entry.
Well, when you're not trained at all, like not even a little, like 4.5 months off.
You know what? That's the. You know, I'm not swearing, but that's BS. You know, like because you went out there and you still did way better.
Well,
you know what though? You got an age group on Friday night.
I did.
Not
today
though.
And but honestly, I don't think it's super tough to get it on Friday. There's not a ton of people.
I got first in my age group. That counts. That counts.
Yeah. I mean, I did run with you guys. So we ran together.
You slowed down to run with us. Otherwise, you would have got an age group. Is that where you're going?
Here's the deal. I did not want to go out quicker because there was a good chance if I went out quicker, I wouldn't even finish.
Yeah, right.
So I was happy to hang for 2 laps and go, all right, let me go out on this third and see.
Because of as old as I am, that helped. That helps. Less people run at my age. Maybe,
well, that is true.
Know.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people still run at your age. I don't know. We'll see when I get that old. I'm not that old.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. We'll never be in the same age group, though.
I realized that last night. Yeah, you're 54.
Not quite.
So we will be for a window.
No, I don't think so. Because
I turned 50
this year.
I turned 49 in January.
Oh.
I'll be 50 in January. So next Groundhog, we're in the same age group.
Oh, I got to work.
I have to. We are running Groundhog next year.
That makes me angry.
And I'm not hanging with you.
That makes me angry. I'm going to kick you in the leg.
So we'll have a showdown at Groundhog next year. Mark it on your calendars.
And then I'll show up. Like, you should be witness to this.
Yeah. So let's talk about the race. Number one, let's just run through. And the reason being is we just wanted to kind of cover this race a little bit. It's an interesting race because it's in February.
It's very
in Michigan.
Unique. Very unique.
It is on unplowed portions of whatever. I say asphalt, but I guess it is all asphalt.
It is.
It's just all covered with snow.
It's paved bike trail.
Yeah.
We run it all the time in the summer.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to run it in the winter unless you sign up for the race.
And for those who ask this question, which gets probably asked more than any other question about this race, why don't you plow at least they say, why don't you plow it? Well, here's the thing. That trail in the winter is a shared there's a cross-country group that uses it.
Yeah.
And so
they groom
the race,
it. And they groom it. Yeah.
And so the race can't go in there and just plow it all up.
Yeah. We still jack it up. That's what's funny about it because it's all pocked up.
But they can go back through, groom that, and put the cross-country skis in so people can still go out and use it. So that is the reason they do not even mess with it. So anyway, the race. Packet pickup on Friday. That went great. Mm-hmm. Super easy. You pull in, you run in. It's a small enough event that you get in, you get out. It's no big deal.
So easy. It's so easy. Like compared to big races, I get the allure of big races, but these small races are great.
They're fun.
You can park right by the event. You don't have to sit there and mess with trying to figure out where you're going to park and try to fight with other people. You come right in.
Yes.
And they have a heated tent. Not that it's that warm, but it's okay.
It's way okay. Like fast forward. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here, but when we finished up the race last night, we changed real quick, threw on some dry clothes, walked in. I was only wearing a t-shirt and a sweatshirt, and I was 100% fine in there.
And you still had you ate a bunch of cookies, I noticed too.
I had a few. I had 4, I think.
I had more than you today, though.
I bet.
I ate a lot of cookies.
I jetted after today. So Friday packet pickup went great. we hang out, wait for the race, the 1/6 World Championship Marathon. And that kicks off. You line up at 6:30.
Yeah.
And
We're a headlight.
And you are sent off on your way. And it was cold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was it, 14 degrees?
Well, I think
it felt colder. I think
way colder.
The actual was 14, I think. That's what I at least looked at on my phone.
Okay. I think I had colder than that on mine, but
Maybe.
Who knows?
Well,
whatever, 10 to 15 degrees.
Whatever weather app you're using.
Right. And it's weird because I think wherever like Strava pulls its weather from, it could say 14, or like Garmin could pull its weather from something else. So, whatever, 10 to 15 degrees. And man, the nice thing about doing the 1/6 is you get a little bit of a test of what is the course going to look like the next day.
So what's funny about that is I had everybody commenting. You had people commenting on yours that we know are running the next day. So what's the course look like? What do I need for shoes? So I get that every year. So I always run the 1/6 the night before so I can kind of test out the course to know how do I need to, what shoes do I need?
Yeah, and it's a fun event. It's a nice small 4.6.
4.4.
Yeah,
whatever
4.4,
it is.
Whatever it equals out to. But yeah, and it's fun to run at night. And one thing, like I again commented last night, was the lights that you see like through the trail system. It's really neat.
That was my second point, is the last part of it, the last 2 miles was very enjoyable. We're sitting there chatting, and I was like, I could run for a while. And we got close to the end. It's like, I don't know if I'm ready to be done yet because we're just enjoying ourselves.
Last night.
Which sounds just so stupid. We're running on this crappy, snow-covered course, and it's like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. You get to start all over the next day, though. And by the end of that one, you're ready to be done.
My 6th loop today, my 5th loop. It was really my 5th loop today. I'm like, screw this. This sucks.
Yeah.
But
that's why, man, finishing up today, I was so happy to be only doing the half.
Whatever. My 6th loop, I made it my party loop. I stopped at each aid station. They had some spirits, possibly.
Yeah.
And I partook.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah, that is, again, we've mentioned this before too, is it's the aid stations are very fun.
Yeah.
Super, energy. There, amazingly, we knew several people that just came out to just sit and cheer.
Yeah.
In February.
Yeah.
Like Ron and Sue.
All these people out there that you wouldn't think, you got to be freezing, but they don't care.
They come out and support all the volunteers sitting out there in a camping chair with a snowsuit on for some of them, and it's like, you're smart.
I'm telling you, though, that group just before that hill coming down, they were still there on my 6th lap sitting in chairs. I'm like, there's no way I would sit out here.
Where you take the right turn?
You take the left turn down the hill. So after the second aid station, you go uphill a little bit and you come down. They were just, there's probably 6 people there. 3 people standing, 3 people sitting in chairs.
Wow.
Cheering you on, and then Laura's running with me because she's training for 100K or she has 100K in a couple of weeks. She was doing her last long run.
Yeah.
And, that's such a nice shirt. Just the silliest stuff. I'm like,
freezing their butts off.
That's the last thing I'd be thinking about.
Yeah. Good job.
Good job. Yeah.
So then, let's jump into this morning. Well, first of all, last night, finish up 1 second on that. My right foot, my right big toe was frozen.
I was good. I could tell my feet were a little cold.
Today, fine.
Yeah.
And it was the same temperature, basically. But last night.
The start this morning was the same as last night.
Yeah, and it did get colder throughout the lap last night versus today. But, man, I was worried about my feet. Now, I did put on an extra layer over my exoskins. I'm sure that helped a little bit. I don't know, just maybe the sun being out, it was a little, maybe it did warm up a little bit. But But get home last night. I think everybody was shocked to see an actual run for me on Strava.
Well, when you take like 6 months off, it alerts everybody when you have your first Strava run.
Yeah.
It tells them, you get a message, oh, congratulate Lewis. He actually
did something.
run. Like, did he really? No way.
Not just a golfing thing. So I got home last night. I was excited because that was the first run with the Stride power meter. So that did come in, got that information uploaded to the app and started kind of checking it out. But it really doesn't tell you anything until you have a little bit of a base.
Yeah, you need a couple. You need at least, you ran today, so a couple runs to kind of see where your zones are.
And it still doesn't give me anything yet. I think it probably must want 3 or 4 runs, but whatever.
Could be. So you're gonna have to run tomorrow.
But it was still pretty cool to see, just like the power thing, and and I dug into it a little bit more today just to see what is it actually giving me. And then fast forward to today. It was nice to also last night go, okay, this morning is going to basically be the same thing. So what I'm wearing, I know either I have to go down a little bit or wear more. Well, I had to go down just a little bit. I wore a windbreaker last night. Did not need to wear that today. And I was perfect. Everything felt great.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had to up my game a little bit because my hands were cold yesterday. So I put 2 sets of hand warmers in there. I put them on the back of my hands and on the front of my hands. But my gosh, I tell you, as I get older, my hands get so cold. So that was the trick. And then I had to ball my hands inside my gloves. But that last loop, like we were talking about, it warmed up a lot. My hands were sweating on the last loop, which was a nice thing rather than so cold.
Yeah, I did not have any issue with my hands. Last night I had to ball them up inside the gloves. But today, I just threw the same one hand warmer in with my gloves, and I mean, I was fine. I didn't have any issues.
I'm thinking I'm pretty clever with my 2 sets of hand warmers in there.
One on top, one on bottom. Yeah. Yeah. That's, if you really struggle with keeping your hands warm.
It's an old age thing.
Yeah. Not there yet.
You're close. Don't lie.
So this morning, show up, it's funny. I got up this morning and my plan was to leave. I wanted to leave no later than 7. Again, a nice thing about a local event,
you don't have to.
It can roll in as, the race started at 8.
A local event that's not super busy. Because if you went to Riverbank.
I'm sorry, yeah.
If you went to Riverbank, you'd be screwed.
A local, smaller event, yes. Man, I had no stress this morning. I got up, had some coffee, had some toast, got around. I was getting ready. My plan was leave by 7. Well, my plan was even to leave earlier than that. And as it got closer, I'm like, I really don't need to leave that early. Like, if I leave by 7:10, I'm fine. Get there at 7:30, half hour till the race, plenty of time. Getting all around, getting ready to leave, and go to throw my watch on, and the strap breaks.
That's why you got that pretty band on there now.
Yeah, so I had to change it. I
don't know if I like the blue.
I don't mind it. I have a
sure.
white. I had a white one. I almost put on a white one for Groundhog because it's snow, all white. But went with blue. But anyway, so had to bust out. Had to quick go grab. Fortunately I had a pack of I bought a pack years ago of 6 different colors, and as quick swapped it out. But it still took, an extra 5 or so minutes. But I still rolled in at 7:40 or something like that.
I noticed. I texted you. I'm like, where are you here?
Yeah, I got there. I was definitely at a park a little farther away, but still, it's so close. It's like I'm one of the furthest ones away.
And it's not
and
that
it was
far.
So close.
Yeah.
So got there, rolled up, and as I'm walking up, they're like, okay, head out to the start. And so everybody was heading out, and I peeked in. I could see you in there, so I'm like, oh, I'll go in there.
Yeah, and I said to you, I'm not going out there right now. It's too damn cold.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no point.
Like if we cross the line a little late, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, rolling start.
I am not going to freeze. So we still got out there 5 minutes too early, for that matter. Because
it wasn't too bad, though.
But we stood on that bridge, and the wind just cuts across you. And I'm like, I'm cold.
But you have to admit, this is probably one of the better years weather-wise. Other than it was a little bit cold.
It was okay. Like, we ran a year.
It wasn't that windy.
No, not at all.
There was a breeze.
But we ran a year where the path was clear. I know I've run at least 1 or 2 years where the path is completely clear. This year it was completely snow-covered.
But it was better than last year.
Yeah, it was packed down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because it was actually colder, so that when it did pack, it didn't break apart. It packed and stayed packed.
And the key was trail shoes with spikes.
Yeah.
Because for any loose pack, you got a little bit more nubs on your shoe, but for the ice or any hard pack, you got screws to keep you from sliding too much.
Yeah,
but not that that's perfect, because I'm still going to be sore tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah, wait, I'll be lucky to get out of bed tomorrow.
Suck it up. You only did a half.
And I don't know what those percentages are, but
I don't care. I'm not hearing it.
It's way too much for what I should have done. But yeah, the race kicked off today. No, definitely should not have. Race kicked off today, and it was just, there's really nothing big to bring up. It went great.
Yeah, we ran with friends. We ran with Brian and Ashley and Amy and Jim O'Connor.
Yeah.
And we all kind of just stuck together until he had a hot spot on his feet and he had to change his shoes. And then I started with him and then finished with Jim. It was kind of fun.
Oh, that's funny. He dropped off to change shoes and then caught back up.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It means I suck, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, we ran as a group. I stuck with you guys for 2 laps, and then I wasn't really planning to quote unquote take off. It's just how I ended up where I did when I did. And I was like, I just want to see. It's been however long it's been. So I'm like, I'm just going to just pick it up a little. And I just stayed feeling good. And then I got
good after not running for 4.5 months.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I got to somewhere around 2 miles to go for me for the last loop. Mm-hmm. And I said, in my head, I'm going, all right, get to a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile, and I want to take off, quote unquote.
And you can't really take off.
There was no taking off. There was 0 taking off.
My last loop, I hate to say this, but it was nice that Laura came out and ran with me. But she makes me work. When she runs with me, there's no slacking. So we get to that last, she's like, I'll just run that last loop with you. I'm like, there's part of me that's that's good to have the company, but then I'm thinking I was going to really slack on this last loop. So I had to run. I'm like, okay, that was going to be my party loop, just so you know, my celebration loop. So I'm like, okay. So I stopped at the aid stations, and of course I partook in the fireball. Yeah. And then I took, as I said, okay, I'm going to do a couple shots on this loop. And I did. So
she decided to call it?
But no, she still stuck with me. So she was fine with it. But she was worried she'd be too cold at that point.
Wait, so she did the full?
No, but because she started a loop late. So she did 5 loops. So she did 22 miles.
I didn't realize she started a loop late.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
we just hung out, and I was like, well, screw this. I'm going to.
Yeah.
So at the last aid station, they had Fireball and what was the other? The peanut butter whiskey. So they had that too. So and then they had donut holes. So I hung out there for a little while.
So you partied before the
Well, that was 2 miles before the finish. So, yeah, I killed my whole diet for the last month. But whatever.
So that the race went really great. I could not be happier with.
So what's the plan after today? So you get your kickstart.
Yeah, I'll just I don't know. I'll probably run 3 times a week, something like that for right now.
So are we running Saturday or what are we doing?
Yeah, probably. I need to. Yeah.
I got to work on Sean.
Well, the thing is, I'm not up to your mileage though, so we'll have to figure out something.
Well, yeah, you are. You did 13, so you can do 18 next week.
Yeah, realistically, I should have done 3.
Whatever.
I should have done 3.
Whatever. For normal people, the 3 is good, but you're good.
It does make me think how little, like obviously all the little muscles and all that are probably pretty sore, but like how much base did I really lose?
I think you probably lost more than you think. I think you'll probably be sore tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, just the fact of going out, like it's one thing.
And running in the snow.
That's the thing.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. I'm like, this wasn't just go out and run on pavement. That sucked.
Yeah.
Like
I was watching Ashley and her legs were all over the place. She was about falling down in some spots. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. So that's basically a groundhog. Oh, I guess we should talk about the finish. It's uneventful at the actual finish. Yeah. Because nobody wants to be standing out there.
Yeah, they don't hand out medals at the finish. You have to go in the tent.
Which I am fine with.
Well, me too, but I want to give them crap for not standing out there freezing their butts off.
Yeah. So you do finish, which is on the bridge, which is pretty cool. You, again, cool also, you can head down on your way because the parking lot, like where you parked, you could walk right by your car almost.
I did, and I put a coat on.
Yeah, you didn't change?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I still have my bib on my. I didn't change my tights, but I still have my bib.
But you get done, and if you're parked on that side, you can change to some dry clothes, waltz on in, get your medal, and get some chili, beer, hot chocolate, coffee, cookies, pretzels.
I had more beer than chili, but definitely. So I was late getting here. You texted me. I'm like, oh, I'm on my way.
Yeah, I was working on what will be tomorrow. Well, what will be this week's the day after Groundhog podcast, and I got all done editing the video. I'm like, holy cow, it's like 2:15, 2:17.
And I said I'm on my way, and then it was still a
and
half hour.
And then at 3:17, I'm going, it only takes 20 minutes. It is only 20 minutes to get here.
I might have lied. But somebody caught me.
Yeah, you talked to a couple of people on the way out, which is typical.
Yeah.
You get caught by some people, but
they were definitely tearing down as I was leaving.
Oh, really?
I got my money's worth, which was 0.
Yes. So that's Groundhog Marathon weekend. I honestly, especially if you're local and in the area, I would highly recommend the race.
You know what I've noticed is there's a lot of people out of town that come and run this race. So
why?
I don't.
No, I'm kidding.
I know. Like, why would you want to put yourself through that? But people do. They show up from out of town. They get their Michigan race, if you're running 50 states, on Groundhog.
True. Yeah.
So there's no. I mean, if you want a little bit more challenge, at the end of the day, if you're just getting a state in, what do you care what your time is? It's not going to be a PR time.
Yeah. And it is a good race. Like,
yeah.
I say why just because it's like, holy smokes, it's not an easy race, just the conditions. And he says it on the website.
Yeah.
Like, he talked about it when he was on the podcast. He's like, look, this is not an easy race. You're February in Michigan. There's a good chance the footing is going to be the worst.
But it still loops. You're still well supported.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to suck it up, and maybe you're going to go a little slower.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But if you understand that and understand it's more about just enjoying the journey and the adventure of it.
It's funny. I talked to Matt Frazier for quite a while afterwards, and he's like, I just loved being out there. I loved running. I loved talking to people. He's like, I finished. It was a crappy time for me. He's like, what do I care?
Yeah.
Like I was just enjoying myself, and I was just, and you can look at it like that. If you can take a step back from your PR race, what's the matter?
Yeah. And it is fun. All the volunteers, great. They really try to make sure you're coming out of the freezing cold, and they warm you up just with their personality.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is very, very cool. So yeah, that's the Groundhog Marathon, and that's really all we have to cover on this episode. Well, we were going to talk about the Stride Power Meter a little bit more, but honestly, I think given the numbers that I have, I will say this: I'm around a 250 for my watts,
which is funny because I'm over 300 when I'm.
Yeah.
So it just shows our size difference, our weight difference.
Yeah, and I don't know how that correlates for conditioning.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it does that well with some of that stuff.
Well, I don't think, is it really telling you? The only way it's going to tell you condition
I don't know if it's catching when you're slipping and losing ground on snow or not.
I'm wondering if it
does.
Yeah, because it's taking in. One thing I did notice is, which is really cool, and I do want to dig into this a little bit more, but it's calculating your legs are working basically like a spring. Mm. And so they have this, let me see if I can find it here. It's basically telling you the elasticity of your stride, or the spring of your stride by how much. And then the reason I say this is because it may calculate things like slippage and things like that.
Oh, really?
Because it's able to, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it quick enough. But at any rate, it may take into things like that because of that one thing. I'm just wondering if it actually does do that.
That complicated one thing.
I was trying to see if I could find. I see why.
There's a whole book to read, which is funny.
Yeah, you were saying that. It's called LSS, your leg spring stiffness. It assumes the leg is a spring and calculates its theoretical stiffness by dividing the force the body produces against the ground by the distance you move during the time it took you. And then there's a lot more, the time it took you to produce the force. So, and it goes into talk about even more of that. But the fact that it calculates that, and that's pretty, they're calculating a lot.
That'd be interesting as you get more runs in. So, yeah. When are you running next?
Yeah, I'll probably start running 3 times a week. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or not. We'll see.
I have to run tomorrow. I have to keep my 10 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. 10 miles a day average. Or no, 12 miles a day average.
Yeah, 12 miles a day average.
Minimum of 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am excited to get into some of those numbers a little bit and share those. With YouTube now, it will be interesting if we can share things a little bit differently. So if you're listening on the podcast, we'll have to figure out a way to, or if you're just listening, we'll try to figure out a way to help maybe show that in some different way. Like, I don't really know, but
we'll find out.
But we'll figure it out. But it will be fun to share that information, especially for something like this that really it can benefit runners trying to improve. And
I think I like the idea of getting off pace because pace is not accurate.
Well, pace is accurate, but it's all reactive to how you're doing.
But it's not based on effort.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
So if you want to run by effort, this makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bad day, it's different.
Yeah, that's where like even A to Z running who coach me, even though I haven't ran, they they run purely off effort,
Yeah.
but not off like a power meter or something like that. It's off your actually how you feel, off your effort, which is really interesting.
I have found that power meter is pretty close to how you feel. That's what I found.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see when I run on a normal conditions, like what it all looks like and see what it predicts I can do. Cause I think that's pretty cool. It gives you your predictions.
For sure.
So yeah, so that's gonna basically wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. One thing I will say, so thankful for the subscribers on YouTube. Go there, check it out, subscribe, and
There's
we
gotta be
do
some,
have.
There's got to be some avenue where they give us race entries, though. That's what I'm feeling through that.
Ooh.
I don't care who it is. I need race entries.
Give us race entries is what it sounds like Mitch wants.
Yeah. I don't care if it's for Lewis, but I care for me.
Donate.
And a place to stay.
Donate
I'll go anywhere.
Place to stay and a race entry to Mitch.
Yeah.
If you're in Montana, definitely talking to you.
Yes.
Right now.
Or any state, Idaho. Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, any of those.
We'll put a list up of what
Alabama
Mitch needs for his 50.
Georgia, any
Alaska,
of those
Hawaii.
Alaska and Hawaii will all go.
We will figure something out.
I might even consider taking my wife at that point.
Oh, that would be real nice of you.
Yeah. I'm a giver.
Yeah. So yeah, be sure to check us out on Facebook or YouTube and subscribe. That is super beneficial, and we want to start to give a little more on YouTube. Things that wouldn't make sense to be a podcast, like a gear, showing gear, things like that, where you can actually show the piece of equipment or gear or whatever. And so we will start to grow that side of things a little bit more and a little bit differently than what we would in just a podcast.
Right.
But yeah, that is going to wrap up this week's episode of the I Don't Know Running podcast. Be sure to check us out next time as we share more about what we just don't know.
Which is not very much. Until then, happy running.